Breaking today, an investigation into Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's revolting hospital stunt where young children suffering from terminal cancer in some cases were used as props, were put at health risk in order to kick off this fake royal tour. Now, the tour got no better as the week continued, with Meghan Markle's fake tears on Bondi Beach, booze at an Australian rugby game. But I think it was the hospital itself which really did prove that these two have absolutely no moral bone anymore in their body. Everything is about a stunt. And it doesn't matter who you use. It doesn't matter what morality you trample all over, given that at other parts of the tour, of course, these people have been saying, well, no children should be on social media, yet they will use sick kids in such a despicable manner. So big news just breaking, and this announced via Britannia Royal. Beyond Australia has now made a formal complaint about Harry and Meghan using sick children as a photo op. They're asking how this happened. And by the way, it comes as the left and the right unite in terms of their criticism of Harry and Meghan over the course of this tour, with Meghan Kelly, Trevor Phillips, and so many more big names speaking out. We will come to those in just one moment. Plus, we've got all the brilliant analysis today from royal YouTube sensation P-Dina. But P-Dina, I just want to first read you this complaint and investigation demand from beyond Australia, because what they're saying, and by the way, I completely agree with this, P-Dina, is that there has been a potential breach of patient dignity, consent, and safeguarding obligations. They have now lodged a formal complaint regarding the visit to the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne, and they say it is my concern that the conduct and facilitation of this visit may constitute a failure to uphold appropriate standards of patient dignity, informed consent, and safeguarding obligations, particularly in relation to minors in vulnerable medical circumstances. They say publicly available material suggests that seriously ill children were involved in a highly visible and publicised interaction. This raises legitimate questions as to whether consent obtained from parents or guardian was fully informed, freely given, and appropriately documented. The best interests and well-being of the children were the primary consideration in permitting such involvement. Sufficient safeguards were implemented to mitigate any potential psychological, emotional, or physical impact on patients. And actually, I just want to show you, P-Dina, as I go through the letter. Do you remember that poor young woman who just seemed totally lost in that moment, having previously been asked to remove her mask? And the letter goes on to say, given the vulnerability of the cohort involved, and activity of this nature must meet a high threshold of ethical and clinical governance. The apparent integration of patient interaction within a public-facing engagement gives rise to concern that these standards may not have been adequately met. I respectfully request that the Commission assess whether the hospital's actions were consistent with applicable patient rights frameworks, consent requirements, and safeguarding obligations on Victoria Health standards. I further request that the following matters be examined: the policies and procedures governing external visits, the process for risk assessment, documentation and verification, measures implemented to protect patient dignity. Given the seriousness of these concerns, I ask that the matter be formally investigated and that I be advised of the outcome. Yours faithfully, Beyond Australia. So firstly, P-Dina, I mean, amen to Beyond Australia, because this stunt horrified the world. There must be a formal investigation. And I think we've really got to start looking at whether the Sussexes and the Sussex team should be held formally responsible for the way that these patients were used. Remembering that this, and I'm going to use Meghan Kelly's word here, and I'll come to that later, that this bitch, P-Dina, used that visit to sell the outfit that she was wearing to the hospital on her new website. Were the parents told that? Because, I would like to know, if the parents gave consent, did these parents know that Meghan Markle would be using this visit to shill and sell her clothing? Were they aware of that, Griff? Because I would argue, P-Dina, if they were not aware of that, and my understanding is that they were not, then that consent is meaningless.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. If you were to go to these parents and say, hey, Meghan Markle is going to be here and she is going to be selling her clothes, she's going to wear an outfit that you are going to meet her in. And as you meet with her, people are going to see the clothing that she is wearing and she is going to get sympathy from the photos with you as the sick patient to sell more clothes. Do you consent to this? If you were to put it like that, do you think these people would then want their photos taken with this woman? Absolutely not. So people need to be shown and told the real deal when they see Meghan coming, because it's not what they think, a happy, smile and nice to see you kind of a visit. This is clearly using you as a photo op to enrich Meghan Markle. Now, do you consent to this? Is that what is being said? Because that's how it has to be worded to people to understand the true nature of this woman, because she's not there to show you sympathy that she cares, because first of all, she doesn't even have her charity anymore. There's no connection to sick children in a hospital. Her connection is to get eyeballs on her to sell her clothes. And these people are being clearly used for that purpose. And they don't know nothing about it. That's what I was saying earlier, that they are being taken advantage of and they don't even know it. They need to be told what is happening and they need to be protected because it's not what they think. Okay, so we need answers. So I'm so happy that this Beyond Australia has written this letter, this complaint, and has lodged this complaint because somebody needs to investigate exactly what has happened. It's disgusting.
I couldn't agree more. And P-Dina, there was another egregious lie being told by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle yesterday, which I also think needs to be investigated. So you remember that Meghan said this about her trolling experience.
10 years, every day for 10 years, I've been bullied and attacked, and I was the most trolled person in the entire world, man or woman. I'm still here. And so when I think of all of you and what you're experiencing, I think so much of that is having to realize that, that industry, that billion-dollar industry that is completely anchored and predicated on cruelty to get clicks, that's not going to change. So you have to be stronger than that.
And look, I'm not going to put you through listening to the Harry thing again because we did a whole video on it earlier in the week. But P-Dina, effectively was saying that, during the period where Meghan Markle was pregnant, he had therapy because he was going home and picking Archie up, and Archie was crying because he was so stressed. And that was taken as a bit of an attack on the British royal family. But actually, there's a much bigger scandal, P-Dina, hiding in plain sight. And I want to take you through how, according to Taz, explained this. Why is the mainstream media not picking this up? Another lie exposed by his own stupidity. Harry told a group of people in Australia that he had therapy when Meghan was pregnant with Archie, as he struggled with detachment from her pregnancy. Anyone else remember the stories that Meghan was suicidal whilst pregnant, but they had no one to turn to, no help, they were left abandoned. You telling me he's going to a therapist because he's struggling with disconnection? And the therapist warned him, just be aware of how you feel once the baby is born, which Harry described as a massive help. But the same therapist didn't ask about the expectant mother, how she was coping. Given that her husband was clearly not coping, Harry didn't think to mention my wife needed help as well. They have just proved again that they lied on Oprah, using something so deeply emotional and upsetting as suicide and depression that affects so many women and partners pre and post birth, knowing it would resonate with many and it would anger them, just like racism towards an unborn child. They need calling out for this, and they have the absolute cheek to complain. They get bad press. And as Irene Britt USA put it, so you had a therapy to prepare for the baby's arrival, but your suicidal wife had to go to HR. And P-Dina, come on. He has just exposed the big lie. Because Meghan was saying, oh no, we didn't have access to anything, or I didn't have anything to access to anything. But what? He's with his psychiatrist. I mean, look, he's probably telling the truth, but unfortunately, within that, he has also revealed Meghan's most egregious lie.
Yeah, he's definitely outed her because everything that they do is a lie. They just want to be victims. They don't care that it's a lie. They just like, I just want to be a victim. Can I just say what happened to me and my victimhood? Like they just are so all over the place. Nothing is real and authentic. And when I think about people like Harry and Meghan that always want to tell people how they are victims, this is the complete opposite of anyone who is in a leadership position because they've never, ever talked about their shortcomings. They've never talked about how they have done wrong and how they have learned. It's always me, woe is me, I'm a victim. And that's the part of the problem with Harry and Meghan, that their stories are all over the place because all they want to do is be victims. They're not true leaders. They're not people who can embolden and empower people to be better because they're constantly nagging other people about what's wrong in their own lives. And I think people at some point need to start picking up on the fact that they have nothing of value to offer anybody because they don't even have stories that are even together in purpose. Like they don't even know how to discuss what happened during this fake pregnancy. Like so Harry and Meghan they're just at such a grift that it has to be continually exposed. Because imagine if no one said anything, how much worse it would be. Harry is he needs saving. He has lost his way because he surely is not Diana's son. Not with all the things that I am seeing here. This is a complete disaster. Everything about them. And it's getting worse.
Well, it is getting worse, but P-Dina, according to Taz, makes a very good point. What about the mainstream media? Well, the mainstream media is lost, actually.
Yeah.
And the sooner everyone realizes the mainstream media is lost, and I, by the way, mean the mainstream media in the UK, the US, and Australia, the better. Because I want to just give you an example of the disgusting propaganda of the final day of the tour that was coming from Channel 7 in Australia. Now, Channel 7 in Australia has been the worst all week. All of a sudden, they just ignored all of the concerns about this tour and turned into propagandists. Watch this from Sydney.
Look at this day. It's really turned it on day 4 of their tour, and they're here. They're just doing a turnaround right now. They're sailing with the Invictus Australia, and if you can see on board, I know we're from quite a distance, but Harry's talking to Invictus athletes. He actually set up the Invictus Games in 2014 to help soldiers with their rehabilitation, but obviously it's been a very busy day. The sun's been out, and here they are sailing in the open Sydney Harbour. The only ones around right now are a few other media boats. But it is all happening, and it's been very busy since they started this morning. They dropped by Bondi with an impromptu setup to talk to the lifesavers who were there at the Bondi attack, and obviously that was quite emotional for them inside before they went out. Walking along the beach, you can hear the sounds. Everyone was so excited they were getting mobbed by fans. We even tried to speak to them. Take a listen.
How much better is Sydney than Melbourne, Harry?
Oh, I can't answer that question.
We've been covering that they were going to be doing these 2 events, the Opera House, sailing, and then the Waratah game tonight, but then also Bondi. That was where a lot of people were, a lot of fans, Tash, a lot of selfies, a lot of love, saying, we still love you, Meghan, we still love you, Harry, taking selfies, look after yourself. I did hear that a lot as well, but they were very chipper, they took time with everyone, and it was just a great morning for them all.
I mean, it's embarrassing. It was actually only ABC in Australia, which is odd because it's the hard left government outfit. So you would have thought usually they're pro Harry Meghan. They were the only ones that ran a bit more realistic coverage. But first, we've been told our whole lives that wrinkle creams were the easiest way to look younger. Now, one doctor says that's nothing but old news. According to Dr. John Lake, the world-renowned Beverly Hills beauty expert, most wrinkle fixes on the market are nothing but glorified moisturizers. He says they hardly make a dent on your appearance. Some can even be harmful to your skin. Now, recently, Dr. Lake has focused his attention away from mainstream cosmetic practices. Why? Well, so that he can pursue a revolutionary anti-aging breakthrough, one that some experts say could empty the wallets of the cosmetic industry. He says it's almost like Photoshop for your face, and you may even be mad after seeing how easy it is to visibly erase your wrinkles from view. His personal clients have dubbed his new do-it-yourself technique the age rewinder method because it can take years or even decades off your appearance in under 2 minutes. In light of this amazing breakthrough, Dr. Lake has released a step-by-step video to the public, free and uninterrupted, where he outlines exactly how to use this simple solution from home. And he says if it even helps one person look younger or feel more confident, he will be thrilled knowing he helped. The video has since gone viral. At first, it was shared by users on Facebook, but since then, it's racked up over 2.3 million views and counting. So far, the comments and feedback have been outstanding, with thousands of women reporting they look decades younger. One viewer commented, "Best results of anything I've used. I can't believe how well this works. I'll never stop using this. I don't understand how it works, but the results are great. Thank you." So you can find out more about this yourself right now. Go to bhmd1.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below. That's bhmd1.com/outspoken. Now, there is one thing that Dr. Lake asked from his viewers. If watching this video helps you look and feel younger than you have in years, then please share this video with your friends and loved ones. Together, we have the power to help as many women reclaim a youthful look as possible. So go watch the video at bhmd1.com/outspoken right now, or just click on the link in the description box below. But now, back to the show.
A small crowd outside were hoping for a handshake, a selfie, or even just eye contact.
Excited, very excited too. It's going to end up being my history and something that I can share with the grandkids.
High hopes were dashed when they realised the prince had arrived through the back door.
I think it's disappointing that, we come here, the fans have come here to see him and, not even to say hello, Don't have to touch our hands or anything, just say hello.
Fans waited for an hour and a half while the prince kicked around the footy.
I'm holding out hope that when he comes out, he'll come via this way, keeping my fingers crossed.
But it wasn't meant to be. He's been whisked away in a security convoy through a side gate here.
He's trying to portray this image of, for the people, and yet he sneaks in the back. What a coward.
Nick Cicron was also disappointed. He'd made the special trip to the Oval to heckle the prince.
I just think he's a real sponge. He abandoned his family, sold everyone out, and yet he still prances around as a prince.
So that was far more honest. But what I do find interesting is this tour has convinced no one, including, by the way, former allies like Trevor Phillips. He is a lefty in the UK, but he was disgusted by what he saw.
But there are perils in the modern world which, if you listen to some people, dwarf the risk of having your wife and daughters abducted and raped, your sons dragged off to become boy soldiers in a rebel army, and your farm burned to cinders. Take, for example, the deep suffering of the most trolled woman in the world, she says, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and her husband, who never seems to miss an opportunity to have a go at his own dad for being a terrible parent. I'm sure that a $100 million Netflix contract, a $14 million Montecito mansion, and six-figure sums merely for turning up, reading a speech someone else has written, and smiling, are little compensation for their privations. As Oscar Wilde once said, you'd have to have a heart of stone not to laugh.
Yeah, you would. I think the person, though, who you have loved their take on this tour, so I want to share some of it with you, is my friend Meghan Kelly. And I did like the fact that she called out, like, why has Meghan Markle not sued Valentine Lowe? Why has Meghan Markle not sued me? Like, if she really does believe that she's the most bullied woman in the world and that what we have said is a lie, then where is the lawsuit? I think it was actually a very good question from my friend. Watch.
Reporting from Valentine Lowe, who was like the biographer of hers, is really telling. She threatened to sue him. Her people threatened to sue him. They never filed suit. Guess why? Guess why? Don't you think she's very litigious? Don't you think she would have filed suit if Valentine Lowe had been this liar who was just smearing her with absolutely no basis? What about our friend Dan Wootton? Where's the lawsuit against him? He's blown the lid off of multiple Meghan Markle scandals, and what a bully she is, and how nasty she was to Princess Kate, how she made Kate cry. She denied it.
And then Meghan Kelly went through loads of the lies that we've had from Meghan and Harry, including the fact that she had Prince Harry on her vision board, and why. What she was trying to prove, and I think she absolutely does prove, is that Meghan's trolling and bullying claim in Australia literally doesn't add up.
Literally, the Daily Mail is not writing articles about the children in this mental health group. No one's targeting those kids. You got targeted because you wanted to be, because you sought out the most eligible man and bachelor in the world who was putty in your hands because you knew exactly how to exploit him, thanks to his mental trauma. You targeted him. He was on your vision board. Don't lie about it, because I'm the one who broke that news, and I had it on a very good source, notwithstanding your lies about you had no idea who the royal family was or who he was. Okay, sure. And you made it happen because you wanted to feel important. You wanted a short form to mega fame. You weren't getting it done on Suits. So you decided to marry somebody way more famous than you, and you sought to glom on to everything he had. That made you a target because you became a large public figure. Every public figure has been subjected to negative scrutiny, often very intense and unpleasant. You had the benefit of universally loving and adoring, praise, fawning press for a year. When you started dating him, a biracial American princess, oh my God, the U.S. press went nuts. The Brits, who are woker than we are, were self-flagellating themselves in every paper for not having had anybody of color in the family. They were bending over backwards to welcome you into the royal family and chastise themselves for not having had somebody as diverse and interesting as you prior to that. It was pathetic. And then you blew it by being a bitch and a bully.
And what I love about Meghan Kelly is she brings the receipts. She always brings the receipts. She's a prosecutor, watch. We are on a mission to 700,000 subscribers. So I need you to do something for me right now. It is free. It is easy. It is simple. Just hit that subscribe button on YouTube. That's because over 50% of you watching this video haven't done that yet. And it is the best way to support Outspoken. We're totally independent, by the way. No big tech backing, no billionaires pulling the strings. And if you turn on the bell, you'll get alerted to all our new videos.
I think we are now at over 24 people who have left your employ, most, in tears after the bullying you subjected them to. You perpetrated. Not that was perpetrated against you. And then when news of your terrible behavior got out, the press turned on you. Yes, that's how life works. Ask Blake Lively, who there's news on today too, which we will get to. That's what happens. Stop going to groups of children. Days ago, it was kids in a cancer hospital. Now it's kids dealing with anxiety and depression, and making it about yourself, your image rehab, or your need for publicity, or to recast actual events of the past as something much more favorable to you, or trying to create people who are much more sympathetic to you. Just stop.
And Meghan Kelly says that it is entirely Meghan Markle's fault that she is now universally loathed.
The loathing of you has gone mainstream, thanks to one person, you, with an assist from your husband, who's become even more whiny and pathetic. He's talking to I'm going to get to this in the second hour. Believe it or not, this is a second hour segment. I just whatever. This woman's self-pity is such a turnoff to me. But he's just as bad as she is. He's talking about how incredibly anxious and depressed and overly obsessive. What's the word he uses? I was actually taken aback by it. Completely overwhelmed. Completely overwhelmed we all feel. We do? I don't feel completely overwhelmed. I don't feel anxious, stressed, helpless, powerless, and completely overwhelmed. What are you completely overwhelmed about? How big is your mansion in Montecito that you force us to watch in the promos for your wife's stupid shows that all fail, but that keep getting picked up because her Hollywood power agent makes it happen, and she squeezed that last bit of goodwill out of the royal title to get to land a Netflix deal, and you your book deal, and then the two of you your Spotify deal? What are you completely overwhelmed about? Honestly, that. And he's obsessing over the death of his mother, which was tragic. Okay, it was like 30 years ago, and he's still bringing it up. Most people have lost somebody very close to them in the family. Some of us also lost parents right around that same age. We went on to deal with it, to live our lives, to fill up our hearts and our heads with other more positive experiences, to connect with other humans, see the goodness of humankind. We didn't say what he is saying today. We didn't stay in the fetal position.
I mean, P-Dina, she's right. Isn't she? She is completely right.
He's absolutely right. I just wish I could just say that so loudly so that so many people could hear it and experience it, because it's exactly right. I mean, Meghan has done something that she should be the one, looking at, well, she's the reason why this has all happened. That's what I was saying earlier about, like, take responsibility for the things that you have done. She never wants to do that. And it's always someone else's fault why she's being whatever bully. But can we not forget that she did a whole documentary on Netflix bullying the royal family? This woman has had bullying allegations against her on several continents. Like, this woman has done horrible things, and the audacity to sit there and to act as if she is the one who is being bullied is so infuriating to me, because people have been traumatized by her. They have had therapy because of her, but she doesn't talk about that. She's always talking about her own problems. So Meghan Kelly is absolutely right. Meghan only has herself to blame for what she is going through, and she just never wants to own anything. And someone that is constantly blaming other people will never find peace, because she never wants to take responsibility for anything that she does. But she always wants to be the one harming other people and acting as if it never happened, because she never mentions it. It's disgusting. Okay. Someone needs to come and do something about what she is doing to the world, essentially. I mean, this grift with her and Harry is just going to get worse and worse.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But P-Dina, you are going to be there to cover it all. P-D-I-N-A is how you find P-Dina. You must subscribe to her YouTube channel. It is must watch for me. But we love having you here on Outspoken too, P-Dina, so we will speak next week. And of course, if you do want to subscribe to the full Royal Uncancelled after show here on Outspoken, the address is www.outspoken.live. Paid monthly and annual subscribers get first access to the Royal Uncancelled after show. Effectively, you get the whole show, no advertising whatsoever. You can watch live or on demand. But the bigger thing is that your support there allows me to do all of my independent reporting outside of the mainstream media, outside of the Royal Rota. I would love you to be a part of it. You can message me directly on there, www.outspoken.live. Have a fabulous weekend. Dan Wootton Outspoken is your no spin, no bias, no censorship outlet for independent news. We have no big tech backing or billionaires pulling my strings, but that does mean I need your support. So please hit subscribe on YouTube, turn on the notification bell, and subscribe to Dan Wootton Outspoken on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It's totally free, but allows me to continue my promise to always keep fighting for you.